Hi, my name's Steve, or Boo, and I work at Eternal Being. But in the last 6 months, my journey's changed, and I've now become a patient there because I've been diagnosed with MS. And as such now, with Michelle bringing Ozone to the clinic, it means that it's a perfect opportunity for us to almost perform a case study on what's happening with myself and my journey with MS. I started out being diagnosed 6 months ago with MS, multiple sclerosis, and I was rapidly declining, losing mobility, struggling to walk, walking with a stick. And as people that know me have seen me sort of degrade in my availability to actually get up, move, and I was incredibly stiff. Now, this is where Michelle bringing Ozone in was possibly the most fortuitous thing we've done at the clinic, because for me, Ozone has changed my life, and this is how. 6 months ago, unfortunately, I was diagnosed with MS, with having 5 years of problems beforehand and just losing mobility, pain, stiffness, all the wonderful MS symptoms that come along with it. And anyone that knows me has seen me struggle and degrade. And now the timing's been perfect that Michelle's brought Ozone to the clinic, because we've found, just by testing things out, I've become a test subject for an MS case, and Ozone, how it's changed me. And this is how. That I've gone forwards. We've started with Ozone tablets, and I had the blessing to visit the clinic down in London where they're actually bringing the tablets into the country, and meet the doctors behind this, and they explained the whole process of the therapy that's needed and what's going on and what I need to be doing. I was very lucky. I won't lie, I was very lucky to be getting that. But what that's meant is, within 3 days of taking the tablets, and this was, I know it's anecdotal, but this is my personal experience, I could walk. I'm now 6 weeks into the program, and I'm now walking better. I still keep my cane to hand, but I'm walking unaided most of the time. I'm able to start exercising again, which is a massive key factor for MS. Whereas before I was frozen and locked, now I can actually start moving again. And that's a big deal for me. And it does feel unreal. And it feels unreal to me, because I know where I was and I know where I am now, and it's going up rather than down, which MS tends to be a downward grade. I'm now finding I've got a chance to go back up again, and this is, for me, is life-changing. Right, my journey with MS. Now, if anyone knows what MS is, it's an autoimmune disease that attacks your central nervous system, damaging the spine and the brain. Now, mine was caught about 5 years after I started having the symptoms. Now, my symptoms started with a frozen shoulder that was misdiagnosed as just a trapped nerve, but who knows? It's not easy to diagnose, and it's a long journey. And along that way, you start to lose feelings like numbness in legs, sensation, but stiffness was my problem. I was so stiff. I felt like I was 84 getting out of bed when I'm 48. And it was, I can't explain how it really was. It took me 20 minutes just to start walking again. And then if I'd stand up, I'd fall over. I was falling all the time. I was constantly tripping over my foot. I had my foot dropping and dragging. Now, that doesn't affect everyone. MS affects everyone differently. Some people lose vision, some people lose hearing, some people lose the ability to talk. And later stages, that happens for other people as well. But as it progresses, the disease just takes away parts of your mobility and soul, as I see it. But for me, with MS and Ozone, which is what's happened to me, the stiffness, after 3 days, the reduction in stiffness was almost, I want to say 95%, but it really was. And I say, Michelle, as my partner, would tell you, it shocked her how quickly it acted on me and how I was actually moving again and actually being able to walk. Now, I'm a long way from running, but I'll get there. I'm a long way from doing these things, but now I'm able to exercise again, which for MS is a major factor, because use it or lose it, quite literally. Well, what is Ozone? That's what people ask us, and this is putting my practitioner hat back on. And Ozone, it's 3 oxygens. Now, this is a bit chemistry, I know, but we breathe air, which is O2, which is 2 oxygens. And O3 is just 3 oxygen molecules together. Now, I won't bore you with the science too much, but when ozone comes into our body, the body uses the O2 to fuel the muscles, and it leaves 1 oxygen on its own and is a bit lonely. And it wanders through the blood cleaning the blood. It bonds with chemicals in the blood and waste products in the blood that shouldn't be there but are floating around. Part of them is the inflammation cells that in MS's case are prevalent and cause the sickness and the stiffness that you actually suffer with MS. And these single oxygens combine with those and actually be extracted out of the body as waste products. Now that, for me, means I'm less stiff, I'm not in so much pain, I'm actually more mobile, I don't feel the actual sort of, I talk about the weight of MS, the depression almost, the heaviness that it actually gives you. You feel lighter, you feel more mobile. And I've been taking the tablets, I'm taking 6 tablets a day. Now that sounds a lot, but it's 3 in the morning, 3 at night, and it's working for me. Now I can't say it's gonna work for everybody, it's working for me, and I would recommend anyone with MS, it's worth a shot. And certainly I'm combining that with what they call ozone infusion, which is a small cannula is put into my arm, my blood's taken out, it's actually mixed with ozone to filter the blood and clean the blood, and then the clean blood's put back into my arm. Now, the instant effect after that, because I had to drive to get this, I was very stiff when I first got there. I got off the bed bouncing around and I felt energized, and I actually felt more awake, more alert, and it was a lovely feeling. It just felt like that weight had been lifted off me again. So yes, for MS at the minute, my protocol is 6 tablets a day. 3 in the morning, 3 at night, and then every 3 to 4 weeks going for a blood infusion just to top it up and clean the blood. Now, whether that will change depends on how my disease progresses and whether I can keep exercising, keep fit, keep mobile, working against everything the MS wants you to be, which is stationary and still. But by doing the opposite and fighting for yourself, this really helps. Well, what else is ozone good for? Well, lots of things. Now, when I talk about this, I'm on what they call the anti-inflammatory dose, which is 6 tablets. Now, it's been used and tested in Italy at the moment, and the papers that are coming out are absolutely phenomenal. They're treating cancers with ozone, but that's a higher dose, but the results, again, have been absolutely brilliant, particularly with skin cancers as well and melanomas. They've done great things. They've put ozone into topical creams as well, which is something that's coming, and that's absolutely out of this world. And then anything autoimmune based is because they're all linked to inflammation. So that's your 6 tablets. And then if you just want for general well-being, we're just looking at 4 tablets. But again, it just helps to oxygenate the blood, oxygen into the body, get your muscles activated, get them moving again. Right, what is ozone good for? Well, not just MS, because I'm finding it's brilliant for me, but there's a whole list of neurological inflammatory disorders that we can actually treat with ozone, not including, well, just including so Parkinson's, we're looking at Alzheimer's, you're looking at fibromyalgia, you're looking at any inflammation, whether that's from an injury, so chronic inflammation or lymphodemas, things like that. Anywhere where there's inflammation in the body that's causing a problem, causing mobility issues, ozone's perfect for that. And now the studies are coming out of the Italian hospital where these treatments were originally designed for how it's supporting different cancers and cancer recovery. It's absolutely fantastic in topical creams and in the tablets and in the ozone infusion. It can also be used with infusions with other treatments, sort of within other parts of the body, within the mouth, within the rectum, within the vagina, and in the ear and in the nose. Ozone can actually cure a lot of infections in there. It's been found to be an antibiotic without using antibiotics, which is a big problem today in the medical industry, antibiotic resistance. So you can actually use infusion of ozone within the body to kill off actual infections. It's actually been now found as a good supplement just for day-to-day usage in lower doses. So what can you expect, and how do you actually book your ozone therapy with Eternal Being? So the first step is to book yourself in for a consultation with one of our practitioners. We'll run through your history and why you're coming to us and why we think ozone is the right treatment for you. But once you actually turn up on the day for your treatment, you'll be taken into our little side room where we'll actually clean the area, insert a small cannula in your arm, and you'll sit there for approximately an hour while the blood is gently taken in out, cleaned, purified, infused with ozone and put back into your arm It's a very gentle process. Like I say, I'm having this for my MS, so I know how this feels, and it isn't anything dramatic. It's nothing to be afraid of. And don't worry, it's not a big needle, it's a tiny needle, and you don't even feel it. And that was the whole thing, because I used to be needle phobic myself, so I understand. I've been there, and it's not a big needle. I was like, oh, is that it? Quite literally. They joke, just a little prick. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. So, once you arrive at Eternal Being, you'll be taken into your treatment room, where you just sat down in a very comfy chair, offered a glass of water, and you sit there as the area is cleaned up on your arm, ready for the little needle. A small cannula is inserted into your arm, attached to the machine, and over the course of an hour, your blood's pumped out, cleaned, ozone's put back into your blood, and it's put back into your body, and it is pain-free. And you sit there, like I say, relaxed for an hour whilst it all happens automatically. You don't have to do anything.